The answer is blowing in the wind. What about that for an intro? Crowd goes wild. Mi amigo, episode 15. Welcome back. We are on home turf. It's good to be back. SD card. Wolfie has our SD card. So that's why we're not running on video this week. Next week, the video will be back. We've got an SD card coming today. So we're audio only. I could be wearing anything. We're going casual here. We're sitting perched up on the reclining sofa, cup of tea in hand. It is 11:30. I have just came back from the waterfall, freezing my chops off. I haven't done a dip in, well over 4 weeks. So that was my first proper dip. I was going in, I was recording videos in the water, and oh my days. Got that dog, but it was cold. After, I'd say 25 minutes, I was starting to shake. I don't shake. I do not shake. Even at Wim Hof, I do not shake. I do not start shivering in the water. But I started to shiver. I was like, I had my head out. That's how you know it's time to get out. But when you're recording videos, you don't think about how cold it is. You're just focusing on what you're saying. Oh, we tea break there. So in this episode, we're going to go through your questions. I put it on my Instagram, Q&A. Haven't actually looked at any of them yet. I'd imagine they're quite deep. When I put a Q&A up on my IG these days, they do get quite deep. But I suppose that's probably a reflection of the content that I put out, which is cool. I'm okay with that. And, if you're coming here for a DMC, if you're coming here for a bit of crack, great. Let's have a bit of both. There's always some autistic questions in here. Boom, first question, how not to be a nice person. Go to England, my friend. Go to England. And we'll skip that one. How not to be a nice person, mate. Just find the individual's address, get out of the car, get on the front doorstep, drop your kegs, your ankles, and just take a shit in the front door and leave. That's probably your go-to. Anyway, first question. Where to meet women when you're in a period of not drinking and improving health? Good question, my man. A lot of people think the only place to meet a woman, or if you're meeting a man, is dating apps or going to a bar. Yes, of course, it's so much easier to meet a woman at the bar when you're drinking. Liquid confidence is flowing. It's so much easier to strike up a conversation. I get that. And when you're not going to the bar, if you're going for a period of sobriety, or you're just on your health, like a self-improvement grind, where do you meet women then? Go to the gym, and if you find someone attractive, go and speak to them. See, when you're in the shop, and if you find someone attractive, go and speak to them. See, when you're out and about, go and speak to them. It'll feel so uncomfortable if you're not used to doing that. I say that as if I do it all the time. I have a girlfriend. We ain't on that 2-time and grind. But go and speak to them. What is the worst that's going to happen? A lot of people nowadays, I've seen it, especially in London, you've probably seen the trend of running clubs, the Strava clubs, 5K clubs. Apparently that is the gold mine for Riz. That is the gold mine for finding women or finding partners or finding men. Apparently everybody in those groups are just riding each other. So if you're looking to find a partner, I don't care if you're a powerlifter. Get the running shoes on and get their running club. Mate, honestly, I've heard good reports only. So get yourself to the running club, my man. But if you're not going to a bar and you're not using dating apps, then, realistically, your place of work, look at the gym. People you find attractive, just go up and speak to them. We overcomplicate things way too much. What would people have done 50, 60 years ago? I was chatting, I was mad. I was obviously on the pod with my granny, and she was saying that she met her husband, so my granda, they properly met at a dance. So it was like 1950. And you go to a dance hall, and the males are on one side and the females are on the other, and the females have to sit there and wait for the males to walk across the room, and the shoes to choose the woman to come up for a dance, and you can either say yes and go up and dance with them, or you could say no and reject them, and they'd have to make the lonely walk back to the male side of the room. What an embarrassment! Like if you got a hard L there, that's life over, man. That's life over. So yeah, brother, I completely get that. And when you are on that self-improvement journey, ask yourself the question, who do I actually, what kind of partner do I want? Do I want someone that's in good shape? Do I want somebody that works on themselves? Do I want somebody with a fantastic personality or a fantastic mindset? And then ask yourself the question, do they have that? Do I have that myself? You know, Wolfie and I were talking about that in the last podcast. Do I possess the qualities myself that I'm looking for in my partner? Because I see so many guys and so many girls as well. They're expecting the world. Like, they want someone who's in singing shape. They want someone who's like an unbelievable, like an incredibly attractive woman who's smashing gym and who's pushing hard on all fronts. But then they're not looking after themselves. So, you know, we attract what we are, and if we're in a position where we're not the best version of ourselves, all right, let's look inward first. When I became single, I did go, like, I didn't just avoid bars. Like, I did party, I did enjoy myself, and then after a month or two of that, I thought, no, you know, I really need to double down here. So yeah, I still went out, I still enjoyed myself, but I realized that I needed to bring some serious qualities to the table, because I genuinely see myself as someone of low value back then. I didn't really have many qualities which would be desirable for a partner. Bear in mind, my current girlfriend will tell you, she will tell you that when I met her, I would have said to her, I'm single till I'm 30. I used to tell I would have told anyone that I was talking to, I was like, I'm single till I'm 30. Single till I'm 30. Because I didn't want to be in a relationship. I was like, I need time on my own to develop, to become a better person, to become a stronger man, more resilient man. So yeah, when you're going through that period, don't feel like you need to meet women as well. Like, ask yourself the question, would I be okay on my own? Like, we want to make sure that we're always self-sufficient as a man, because a lot of relationships are dependent. They're dependent on the other. And I think it's really healthy to want to be with one another, but not to need to be with one another. I think it's really healthy to know that if shit went south, God forbid, that you'd be okay. That you would be okay. Because what if that happened? And we're not, I mean, God forbid, I'm not wishing anyone's relationship to end, but I'm saying, if it did, would you be okay? And by the mere fact of you knowing that you'd be okay, that means you don't need to tolerate poor treatment. Because why do people tolerate poor treatment? Because there's a dependency, because they know that the idea of being lonely scares them. The idea of being lonely, it's not one that they want to walk towards. So because they don't respect themselves, they then tolerate poor treatment to stay in a relationship so that they're not lonely. And then when there's when there's a toxic relationship, it has a negative impact on both people's lives. And it's a domino effect from there. Gosh, that one question. I love a tangent, don't I? I'm like Wim Hof. I actually went up to ask a question at Wim Hof at the event. So he was in the middle. There's like 400 people in this big hall, and you had to go up and ask a question. I bolted to the front, got number 2, and then asked him a question. People were asking him these really convoluted, complex questions. Again, science-based questions about the evidence and the studies. I was not arsed about that whatsoever. I was genuinely curious, what does this man actually get up to? Like, bro, what are you doing in your day when you wake up? I said, and I asked him the question, from the minute you wake up till the minute you go to sleep, what do you actually do? Like, I said that to him. Oh, that tea is bussing. And he says he loves a tangent. He says he wakes up, he gets in the ice bath, he trains. I don't know what kind of training my man's doing, like, but he trains. He would definitely be more of a CrossFitter. Like, bro is not bodybuilding. Wim Hof on High Rocks, can you imagine? He would be a High Rocks wanker. So he wakes up, he trains, ice bath, and then he just went on a tangent. I was like, bro, you never answered the question. So yeah, I'm Wim. I'm Ben Hof. All right, so next question. How do you self-motivate? Okay, number one, right? See, with the motivation questions, like, I get them. It's probably the number one question I get a lot. Like, and I'm gonna answer straight off the bat here because there's so many of them. You like expecting yourself to be motivated is like, it's the wrong question to be asking. It's not we're looking for the right answer. It's we're asking the wrong question. So let's completely. I don't know when this became a thing in the past 5, 10, 20 years of the question about being motivated. Like, I get why you're asking that because I've asked that so many times, but asking ourselves the question, why should we be motivated, is pointless. Absolutely pointless. It's like asking yourself, what's the weather going to be like tomorrow? And basing your decisions and your judgment on that. When you wake up every single morning, you have a choice. You have a choice whether you want to move forward or if you want to stay stuck. And that choice is completely yours, which is a liberty. That's not a burden. And there are people out there who have it worse. There are people out there who have lost loved ones. There are people out there that are poverty stricken. There are people out there that are extremely busy and have no time. There are people out there that are depressed. There are people out there that have so much worse going on. They have so much less time and they're not motivated and they're still doing more than you. And that's the fact of the matter. There are people that have it harder that are doing more than you. And that's something I had to come to terms with. And I either complained about it or I just changed my ways. So yeah, disregard the question, am I motivated? And just ask yourself, what do you need to do anyway? Like, where do you want to go? Why do you want to do it? How are you going to do it? And then breaking it down into the small steps that you need to do daily. And then completely detaching your ego from the output, like detaching your ego from having a six-pack and attach your ego to doing your 10k steps a day or doing your 12k steps a day. If that's in my case now. I've just started my cut recently, so I'm doing 12k. Because if you attach your ego to the inputs, the output will take care of itself. Like, I literally said to myself, if I don't hit 12k steps today, I'm going to die. But I'm going to hit it then. It's not an issue. I'm going to hit it and people are like, oh, that's toxic. Shut up. Don't be a snowflake. Because you know that's going to serve you and you're going to be a much happier individual. And when serving you is actually serving others as well. So in my opinion, if you want to be the best, if you want to be the greatest servant to other people, be the best servant to you, and that's gonna serve you. It's like the same question as somebody actually asked as well. What is the key to happiness? I actually think that we should forego that question as well, because like those are two temporary feelings. I've said it before. If somebody cut you up on the motorway, someone might get angry. You might get flustered or frustrated. You might think, oh, fuck, flip out. Do you feel the same way 30 days later? No, you don't, because it was so fleeting. It was just in the moment. And I see happiness like that. I see motivation like that. Maybe not as fleeting, but it comes and it goes. Yes, there are things that we could do to make ourselves feel more motivated, like cutting the cheap dopamine from our lives, not scrolling as much, not drinking as much, not giving it in the cheap pleasures. That's going to have a massive impact on the level of motivation and drive that we have. And that's a big reason why so many people struggle with it, is because we're so dopamine depleted. And what I mean by that is we give in the cheap dopamine through porn, social media, through shit food, through any vice that exposes you to cheap dopamine. That's going to have an impact on your motivation. But they're going to come and they're going to go. What is the key to happiness? In my opinion, I rephrase it as, what's the key to being content? Because content, in my opinion, that's a more permanent feeling. Not even a feeling. I don't think that's content is maybe a frame of mind, a state of mind, a permanent state of mind. That's something which I would aspire to have. And maybe not, I'm actually going to backtrack when I say that, not even permanent, just a state of mind, not even permanent, because it will change. You will go up and you will go down, and that is the beauty of life. Imagine where we went through life and the only emotion that you were ever allowed to feel was happiness. Then you would just feel flatline the entire time. You would feel monotone your entire life. If the only thing that you could ever feel was happiness, you would never feel anything. Because the sheer fact that it's temporary, the sheer fact that it goes up and down, is why happiness feels good. When you have those shit days, when you wake up and you get delivered bad news, or you're stressed out at work, that's what makes the happy days feel so good. So recognize that it's part of life that we're going to be up and down. But if I had to give an answer to your question, mate, to being content, it would be to appreciate the little things that you have. And I know it's such a cliche answer, but I tell myself daily is, I'm going to die one day, and the things that I have today, the things that I'm going to do today, I'm not going to have that opportunity one day. I literally woke up this morning, 4:30, I got in the blue bin, freezing cold. I then trained. I had a waterfall. I'm not going to do all of those things when I'm 85, 90 years old. And I know that. I'm not going to be as fit to be able to go and do those things. No matter how much I look after myself, I'm just not gonna. And there will come a day that I'll be lying on my deathbed and I'll be looking back saying, oh my God, I wish I had one more rainy Monday in me. I wish, like, to God, you just give me one more rainy Monday where you went in, you seen your boss that you didn't like, or you had that bus journey that sucks. Just give me one more of those. I would do anything for that. Because when we break it down, there's probably over 1 billion people in the world that would consider their prayers answered if they swapped their lives with yours. Listen, I'm going to say that again. I think that's so true. There's probably over 1 billion people that would consider their prayers answered if they could swap their lives with yours. Those are things I tell myself every day, mate. I tell myself every day, and it allows me to appreciate those little things. Because when we have high expectations and they're not met, that's where there's disappointment. That's where there's dissatisfaction. And people, we expect that if we don't have cocktails on the beach, sunshine and rainbows every day, then our life's not a good one. And just because just because we've had a bad day doesn't mean we're doing bad. Just because we are not feeling great doesn't mean we have a bad life. And I feel like we're just caught up in our feelings so much nowadays. And it's honestly a problem, in my opinion. Mental health has become such a huge topic. I honestly believe it's swung the other way. It's swung so far the other way that people are so concerned with mental health. They're so concerned with their feelings and how they feel and their thoughts that it actually stops them from doing the things which makes them feel good. It stops them from going to the gym. They're overanalyzing everything. They're so caught up in feel that they don't do anything. That they sit and they ruminate and they bury their head in the sand with their phone. And I'm saying this from a guy that's done it. I've done all of those things. But I feel like the conversation we need to be having isn't, it's okay to be okay. It's okay to be okay, but it's not okay to do nothing about it. And it's not okay to take a stand and say, I know that I'm not the best I could, and I'm going to change, and I'm going to take a stand from today to be better. And if that means making a sacrifice and sending the old me to the ashes, then that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. But I cannot explain enough the importance of performing even when we don't want to. Because so when I was doing my coaching course, I'll never forget it. You had to get up and you had to give your story, who you were, what you're about, why you wanted to do your coaching course, And you had to give a talk for 3 to 5 minutes. And a guy got up and he said his name and he says, my name's Axe and I have really bad mental health problems. What benefit is there to labeling yourself as somebody with really bad mental health problems? Because when we label ourselves as something, we reaffirm that label through action and behavior. I'm lazy, so I'm going to act like a lazy person. No. Same works the other way. So let's park that question about being content and being happy. Let's appreciate what we have. But I don't feel like we need to ask ourselves every single day. Do what we need to do, which we know is going to serve the future, and the happiness will take care of itself. Again, just focus on the inputs. Recognize what makes you feel worse and do less of that. And I guarantee your life's going to be better. Okay, so night shift tips for getting training, steps, nutrition nailed. Mate, very simply with the night shift, just make sure that you have a plan ahead of time, and don't make excuses for yourself if that is the fact of the matter that you're on night shift. I've some of my best client results have been from night shift workers. Like some of my best results, and they're coming off night shift, they're training, and then they're getting straight into bed afterwards. And your nutrition, just work it within a 24-hour window. So it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. So yeah, day to day, 24-hour window with your nutrition. Just make sure that your sleep is on point. That's all I can say. So I would make sure that you're not having caffeine too close to your sleeping time. That's the best advice that I can give you. You do not need to overcomplicate it. Right. If you didn't do social media or fitness, what would you do for work? Any other main interests? That's an interesting question because I actually don't know what I would do. I really don't know what I would do. And if I tried so many different things, I worked at a cafe, I sold shoes, I opened a shop with my brother and we sold secondhand clothes. I worked in a call center for a day. I worked in a call center for a day. I've told this on the podcast before, but I literally done 4 weeks of training. And then after the 4 weeks, you had your first day. And I had some old elderly English woman give me shit down the phone about how her contract was wrong and how she was paying too much. And she started giving me lip. And I thought, I was sitting after my lunch getting shit from this woman about something I didn't care about. And I thought, no, you know what? To put it politely, you can suck the back of them. And yeah, apologies, Mum, if you're listening to this, Mum, but that's how it was. That was absolutely how it was. She could suck the back of them. I'm not being spoken to like that. So I called up the manager and I said, I'm out. I am out. So what would I do? I don't know. I feel like I would do something in the personal development space, but yet again, if I didn't do this to begin with, I don't know if I would have found myself in the personal development space. I'm not sure. I know I was far down that line before I actually started coaching. I said to myself beforehand, like I would have, I don't know, maybe would have tried to go back and do my A-levels and I don't know, go into psychology or something like that. I thought that was a huge interest to me. But yet again, the thought of doing A-levels would make me want to drink bleach. So yeah, that was probably not the case. I don't know. Working with people. Yeah, I would work with people definitely. And I feel like if I wasn't doing this, I would definitely be living away somewhere. I would be working with people, but I don't know what that would be. It wouldn't be shift work. It would definitely not. I wouldn't be working in a bar. I would be doing something where I have a decent routine. Where I don't know. I would maybe work for my dad. My mum and dad. They've a ladies fashion company. I would maybe work for them. But that's again if I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I know that wouldn't fulfill me. But I also understand that you could be fulfilled through other means in your life. It doesn't need to be just solely work. I fully understand that. But it gets to the point where if it's depressing you, that's when you need to change it. If it's really making you miserable, that's when you need to change it. And you'll hear people say, "Oh yeah, but you can't just easily leave your job." Yeah, I get that. You can't just easily do something overnight, but you can put a plan in place, a 6 month to 12 months plan in place to figure out another avenue. And anybody, the people that tell themselves that story, oh, you can't leave your job, you can't change your job, they're telling themselves that story to make themselves feel comfortable, and they're telling themselves that story so that they don't need to make an uncomfortable decision down the line. That's my opinion. It's not easy. It's like, there's no chance of it's easy, especially if you've kids, especially if you've created commitments. That's so much easier said for me, someone that doesn't have kids and somebody that doesn't have strings attached. But I am also aware that if you want to do something bad, if you want to do something and it's having such a negative impact in your life, you will do whatever it takes to make sure that does not continue. It's like people that are extremely overweight, or they're just really unhappy with how they look. If you're in a position and you're not changing, you're choosing your scenario, you're choosing your current reality, you're choosing your current situation. Maybe that's how you look and how you feel, and that is the fact of the matter. People need enough pain. So when I started going to the gym, I had so much pain because I was so skinny, and girls laughed at me for it, and it sucked so badly. There needs to be enough pain. There needs to be a strong enough why, and if there's a strong enough why, we'll do whatever it takes. Let me see. Similar kind of question: how to stay positive 24/7? Yeah, I'm really not. Like I might come across on social media as high energy sometimes, but yeah, I enjoy being low energy as well. I really enjoy being low energy. Just being very I'm a lot quieter than what I used to be. I used to be very quiet, but I think I was just overcompensating. I was maybe just an anxious individual, and I spoke too much. Someone needed just to say to Daniel, please just shut your mouth. Whereas now I listen a lot more. I'm not more reserved, but I just enjoy my own time where I'm not communicating and I'm just on my own. I love that. Do you not love that? When you've got a Saturday night and you've no plans and you're just sitting in, you're watching Netflix, you've got your feet up, wee cup of tea. Oh, I sound like such an old man, but that is the best. That is the life, man. I love that. Okay, advice if you feel you have definitely outgrown your friends. Oh, I dropped my phone. Okay. Hold on. Advice if you feel like you've definitely outgrown your friends. Well, I mean, you know the answer there. You obviously have outgrown your friends, and I don't feel like you need to completely ditch your friends if you're on a personal development journey. But you absolutely need to ditch your friends if you're on a personal development journey and they are making you feel worse, and they're worsening the quality of your life. Then you absolutely need to. If they're bringing you down, if they're chastising you, if they're just not good energy to be around, if they're losers, then you need to get rid of those people or just spend less time with those people, because you are who you surround yourself with. You are a sum of the 5 people you message the most. So I want you to look at the 5 people that you WhatsApp the most, the 5 people that you Facebook the most. I was going to say Snapchat, but sure, please don't kill me. If you're listening to this podcast and you use Snapchat as your main form of social media and you're over the age of 23, then you've bigger fish to fry, my friend. You've bigger fish to fry. Sort it out. But ask yourself, are those people improving the quality of my life? Helping me to become better? If the answer is no, then maybe that's one horcrux. That's one part of the reason why you're not moving forward. Environment is the invisible hand that shapes behavior, right? So how can we surround ourselves with people that are going to push us forward? I look at, even when I was in Tulum, when I was in America and Mexico with Tony, I went through a period where I just wasn't enjoying filming content as much. I was loving doing the podcast. I was not enjoying filming for reels anymore. I didn't enjoy it as much. I didn't have as much creative flow as I did previously. But just being around Tony, he's obsessed with it. He thinks about it all the time. That pushed me forward so much more. He was like, right, okay, we're filming 4 reels tomorrow. I'm like, right, okay, I need to script 4 reels. So I'm sitting down and I'm thinking about it more. We're talking about it more, and the ideas are become more free flowing. We film more. We're more productive with it, and it just started to, it started to pick up and pick up and pick up. And some of those reels are definitely doing better now, and we're reaching more people, having more impact with it, and I'm actually enjoying it. It feels fresh again. That's due to the environment. Like, if there was somebody there that was in a position where they hated content or they didn't want to do it, then that just would not have been the outcome. So who you surround yourself with, that is your life. That is your future. So if you feel like you've outgrown your friends, that's fine, mate. And understand that when you're on a personal development journey and you are going against maybe status quo, you're not doing what everybody else is doing, you will feel lonely. But the lonely period is part of personal development. Do not succumb to your emotion through the lonely period. Especially if those individuals are not serving you. I heard a quote the other day. Don't let your loneliness make you reconnect with toxic people. You shouldn't drink salt water just because you're thirsty. And my friend group, I'm not in a position, thankfully, where people are toxic or anything of the sort. I understand that people have that around them, and if that is you, then yeah, you know who to cut out straight off the bat. But accept that lonely period's going to happen. People are going to chastise you if you're not drinking. I see it all the time, especially with a lot of my clients. People are, and you maybe listen to this podcast and you're in a position where, your friends or mostly your friends or your family, they're drinking a lot, and you know that you can be better. You know that you can be great. You can maybe get into incredible shape, that you can maybe double down and push your business. But the one thing that's holding you back, that is holding you back, is the fact that you go out and you drink every single weekend with your friends, and you get to the point where you sometimes ask yourself, do I actually want to do this? Am I actually enjoying myself every single time? Is there even novelty to this anymore? Or am I doing it just because it's a habit? Am I doing it because it's normal? Am I doing it because I'm scared of what they would think if I stopped doing it, what they would say? Because people think you're a legend if you go out and you send it hard, but people think you're boring if you stay in and you work on yourself. And then if you do stay and you work on yourself and you defy the status quo and then you make something of yourself, then people will ask you how you did it. So you need to push past that lonely period. It's essential. And expecting that to be part of the process is going to make it so much easier. So that when it comes, you're ready, as opposed to feeling like it's a nasty side effect. And there's no two ways about it, mate. It is difficult. It is hard. But what I would do is try and surround yourself with people in those healthy environments, like going to the gym. Have the conversations at the gym. Like if you're training and if you're looking for healthy friendships, speak to people at the gym. Those people are obviously in a self-improvement journey as well. Probably going to have some similarities in things that you enjoy or like talking about. Strike up a conversation. Hey mate, what's happening? Daniel, nice to meet you. What are you hitting today? Next time you see them, what's crack this weekend? Mate, you never know where that could lead. Head up out of the phone and have a conversation. That's the advice that I used to tell myself. I made some great friends just from doing that alone. You'd be surprised at the connections that you can make. Alright, I'm looking for next question, bruv. How old are you? I'm 25 years old. 25 and I look like a battered Gucci handbag. Do I need Botox? Probably. Am I going to look 90 at the age of 40 years old? Yes. That's why, my friends, you have to bag a worldie early doors. That is the key. You have to secure the worldie early doors before you end up looking like a Gucci handbag. Right, so question. Okay, so this is a bit of a long one. So hold on, I'm going to try and make sense of this. I'd love to do what you do online with mindset and being motivational. Thank you, mate. I'm afraid I don't have a college degree in psychology. Neither do I. Or have the experiences to be motivational or inspire people of this generation. I'm only 21, but all my friends love listening to me. I think I'd be great at doing mindset content, just like you. I really hope you can answer this, as I really think about this a lot. Colin, you're a legend, mate. Firstly, appreciate the question, my man. And the fact that people love listening to you and think you'd be fantastic at doing mindset content, that goes a long way. That says a lot about you, mate. that you clearly have fantastic insights, that you have value to give. And if that's the case with your friends, how many more people would benefit off your insights and value that you give? If you feel like you don't have enough experiences, maybe you're measuring that off other people's experiences. I sometimes feel like that too, but somebody else might feel like I have loads of experience. So you speaking your truth about what you've gone through, the lessons that you've learned in your life, and look at people who are 21 and what they're struggling with, and how would you solve their solution? And what's the worst that could happen, mate? Like, what's the worst that could happen? I don't have a degree. I talk about my experiences. Yeah, absolutely. That's all. Like, any piece of advice that I give is just from learned experience. I never talk about anything that I haven't been through. And correct me if I'm wrong as well. But there are people out there, there are doctors out there, there are psychologists out there that don't put content out, that don't try and help people on social media. So you don't need to be qualified to put stuff out. That could be a good thing and a bad thing. But never let that hold you back. And when I say it could be a bad thing, because there's people out there that do genuinely just talk muck. So start now, mate, because you really don't understand the impact that this could have on your life if you start posting on social media, the impact that it could have on you, the opportunity that comes about your way, the people that you could potentially meet, and the people's lives that you could change. That, that's one thing which, I'm truly grateful for. When people message you and they say, mate, you genuinely changed my life, and I'd never even met them, or people come up in public and they would say that, and that still baffles me. People that would come up and say, mate, I really love, people said in the airport in London Gatwick there when I was coming home from Mexico, I was like, what? I had to take a second afterwards. I was like, what is going on? Someone on the flight, I was getting up and they said, oh mate, I follow you, I really appreciate your work. Like, that's mental to know that it's having an impact, and that is so cool. So bro, if you've got the opportunity, which you do, grab that opportunity with both hands, because the only person that's going to regret it is going to be you. And any limiting belief that you do have, man, it's bullshit. If you had to write it down and it had to stand in a court of law, it would be thrown out, because there would not be evidence to back up your limiting beliefs. And write out that individual's name that you're scared of their judgment. Write down their name and say it aloud. Ask yourself, am I okay with letting John dictate my life? If the answer is no, then fuck it, do it anyway. So let's double down, mate. Tag me in your next story. I want to see it, bro. I want to see it. Right. Let me see. I think, we've answered it good. Like, there's so many here, but I think those are some good ones. Yeah, those are some good ones. Right, any other questions, shoot them over on IGDM and I will try and answer them in the next Q&A. But big love. What is planned pour moi, since you asked so nicely? I know you did. I am back home back home. This is coming out Wednesday, 31st. Yeah, it is. Tomorrow. So on Friday, I'm heading off to Bali with my girlfriend. I'm taking her away for her 23rd birthday for 2 weeks. So she's never been to Bali, so we thought, let's do it. So I'm working when I'm away. But I said, you know what, we'll take the weekend off. We'll take the weekend off. So yeah, I have a few clients out in Bali as well. So I'm looking forward to meeting them. I've never actually met them, and it's mad how, I could work with people for like over a year, 18 months, 2 years, and I've never actually met them, but you feel like you're literally brothers with people. It's insane. So yeah, go to Bali. Going to do Canggu for 6 nights. Then we're going to do Gili Tea for 4 days, and then we're going to go to Uluwatu and then back to Canggu. So I'm looking forward to it. And then from there, I have back home for a couple of weeks, and then I have a stag do in Ibiza. I've never been to a stag do, so I am fired up. I'm going to let it up, and I'm going to get steaming by. I have not let loose in a while, so that will be interesting. I'm trying to save all the brain cells I have right now for that stag alone. So yeah, any other questions, shout me, make me go. But there were some good ones. I appreciate you, each and every one of you. So remember who you are. Have a banging week. Remember to like, share, follow, you know the drill. And we'll be back with a video next week. Big love. Episode 15 overnight. And as always, my mom said, let's go, baby.